Good evening, friends and fans of the Irish men's hockey team. Keely Dunn here, FH Umpires. Good to see you, or hopefully see of you. See a avatar of you very shortly. It's good to be here. Sorry that I had to delay it for a day. I wanted just to make sure that I was feeling right up to it. Staying good to see you. Just feeling a little bit under the weather the last few days, and no, not that. At least I don't think so. I think it was just a regular flu. So I'm very thankful that I feel a lot better now and ready to give my all, as always, in this live broadcast. So I'm just going to spend a couple minutes letting everybody get acclimatized, get in the broadcast. Morning, Elsa B. Good to see you again. Now, if this is your first time joining us on hashtag Umpire at Home, we have a little workaround format that allows us to all watch the game together. You need to open a secondary browser window and make sure that you are getting on to this game. Bharat, nice to see you, buddy. Make sure that you're getting onto this game. It's the New Zealand versus GB women's game on February the 9th of this year. Yeah, we're taking it to this 2020 Pro League season. Tired of pussyfooting around. We're getting right into it. And this was a fantastic game. I'm really glad I picked it without letting any of you vote. I had to move fast. I'm sorry. I like to get a lot of input. But hi, Simon. Yes, I am feeling much better. Thank you very much for asking. Not anything serious. I just wasn't really feeling energetic and a little foggy, and then I had other flu-like symptoms, but not those flu symptoms, I don't think. But man, if it was, I'll take it any day because I know it's been really terrible. On that note, I just want to extend my condolences out to the Belgian hockey family, the Belgian third team, and everyone who were friends of Mr. Eric Dennis over there. Terrible news coming out of there, and of course to his family. It's awful that this is starting to happen. I just hope that for all of our sakes that we don't lose too many. So anyway, sorry, just taking a moment. I'll be okay. And also I want to give a shout out to a friend of FH Umpires and the editor of the Hockey World News, Jade Bloomfield, also a member of the third team. He has been convalescing from his bout with COVID-19, and I've been in regular touch with him, and he seems to be doing so much better than he was. So very, very grateful for that. Keep up the great work, Jade. Can't wait to see you on one of these broadcasts really soon. Hey Zed, nice to see you. It's always good to have people joining in from Calgary. I feel like I should be able to wave to you and I can't, but it's terrible. So I'm just going to give people a couple more seconds a chance to queue up their matches to the very beginning of the first quarter. So we'll have the anthems. We got a lot of other stuff going on. So just queue that up. I'm not doing the live broadcast. I'm going to watch a recorded version that I have, mostly because I screwed it up last time. I am not allowed to play with those buttons anymore. And I can have a lot more control over watching a local desktop grab. But I will have it playing in another window because I'm fair like that. And that's what you need to do as well. So it is the New Zealand GB women's game. The link is in the main body of the Facebook description. And it's also right here yet again. Here, let me give it to you. Bang. Just like that. Sorry, now after being great for a day, my nose is running. So I'm just going to, oops. Okay, we're cool. Fun times. All right, we got lots of people joining in. I don't know who's laughing out loud at me, but I sure hope they're laughing at something funny I said rather than just laughing at me, period, because I've got feelings. I really do. They're buried somewhere deep inside the heart that doesn't exist, but it's there. Sarah, good to see you from a very wet Zim. God, rain sounds like a joy right now compared to what we're getting still here in Calgary. Can I complain about the weather? I feel like there's so many English people here that I should be doing that. So we had another snowfall today here in Calgary. It's every alternating day. It gets a little warmer and then they're going, oh, just kidding. Let's go back to winter. And it dumps and I'm so done with it. Hard enough quarantining. Okay. I'm hoping everybody's got their matches queued up. If a few of you want to let me know that you're ready to go, give me some thumbs up, give me some comments, keep saying hi to me, whatever you want to do, because I'm going to get ready. Oh, Stain, see, it's comments like that when you tell me it's 24 degrees in Antwerp that I'm not sure if we're friends anymore. Okay, I'm just kidding. Of course we're friends. And Normal, great. Sunny in England? Now you're just rubbing it in. Like, that's just unfair. Okay, Stain's ready. Good. I hope some other people are ready. You got your game queued up. Make sure it's there. I'm going to try to fight it through with some wine. Get myself ready. Great, Simon's ready. There is a lot going on in this game. Lots of fun to watch. I'm super excited about it. I've got about, thanks Zed, ready to rock it. I've got about 5 clips that I have 5 clips that I have pre-prepared that we're going to watch together in this game. I hope that's not going to be too many, but please do let me know if anything happens. Ryan, good to see you. I hope that you're all queued up and ready to go right at the beginning of the first whistle of the first quarter of the game. LCB's ready. Okay, well, girl, you're ready. I'm ready. Let's do this. I'm pretty excited. Okay, so we are going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Make it so. I feel like I'm in Starship Enterprise. Okay. I was going to say let me know how the sound levels are, but you're listening to me. Sorry. Good times. So this is the second match of the doubleheader down in, I think it's in Auckland. And the result of the first game was a little bit unexpected. It was GB winning 3-0. So both teams played pretty well, but I think that was the game that Sabi Hesh came in and replaced Maddie Hinch because she got injured really early in the first quarter. And yeah, here we go. So we have on deck, inside the big white box, we've got Irene Przenki from Argentina down at the far end, far side, left-hand side of your screen. And Alicia Newman of Australia on this side of the screen. And good friend Lim, he is on the video umpire, so we will probably see him. Good morning, Simon. Nice to see you. I hope you're well. Oops, keep that like on. Okay, so as we're getting here, what I want you to, I just want to set the stage for a couple things we're going to talk about in regards to some of the calls, and it has to do with positioning. I'd like you to have a look at just how wide Irene is at this point in the game. Okay, and it's quite a traditional positioning, and we're going to see that she does make an adjustment here. Okay, Irene, very experienced. She's done at least 1 Olympics, if not 2, by now. And then Alicia Newman is in the ascendancy. She's a very talented umpire from Australia who actually still plays at a quite high level. She was playing in the Hockey One, recent competition down there. So she's still a very active player, which is really nice to see. Okay, really nice advantage there just outside the circle where Alicia was able to get Mickelson into the circle, even though there was 1, 2 fouls getting into there. And we're actually going to go back to that if you don't mind, since I was talking through it. Okay, so we're going to pause it right at 12 minutes on the game clock. 12 minutes. And I am going to queue up, if I can do this right. I'm always very nervous about changing all this stuff. Okay. So we're just going to go back to that sequence of play. So here's Mickelson, obviously a great dribbler. There's one foul, here's another foul. And you might think at that moment that actually blowing the whistle is, you would normally react. But giving a player the possession of the ball with only a meter outside the circle there is a really tough place to be taking that free hit from, because they can only go in 3 of the 4 directions, and the 4th direction that they really want to go to, which is straight into the circle, is lost to them. So if you can hold your whistle and get them inside, then they have the opportunity to get a much bigger reward, and that's something that you're really going to be after in order to get the flow. So again, there's a nibble. Here comes another little nibble here and a foot. Now she's inside. She's surrounded by 3 players, but at this level and understanding what that player is going to want in that moment, somebody who's a very strong dribbler, loves to have the ball on her stick, you're going to want to give her the opportunity to earn something inside the circle. So I thought that was an excellent advantage. Very well played. Right, back to the game. I hope we're all ready to go. It is 12 minutes on the game clock in Q1. If you're joining us late, I hope you're ready. And we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, now I'm going to focus on what the next clip's going to be. Great. I'm ready. This is a really quick game. The players are doing a really good job getting the ball moving fast. They're using mixes of, excellent ball possession other than that particular play there by Shannon. But there's some excellent stick handling, excellent attacking, going straight at the player, and lots of long balls. There's aerials, like right there, well cut out there. And this means that you're really not going to see the umpires until the play is moving into their attacking circle, because they really are quite spread out, which is okay, because in a big game, there's more room on the pitch to see in between. Now you can see Alicia right there. She's got that interior positioning down on the end line. She is quite ready for everything. Now, this is an important play that's going to develop coming up this right-hand sideline towards Irene. Okay, so we're going to come back to this clip, but don't pause it just yet, because I'll let you watch the replay in real time. And we're going to pause it right at the 10-minute mark, if you're ready. Okay, the ball is being taken inside the 23-meter area. Maybe not necessary, but get ready to pause it. Okay, oops, stop. So I'm stopped at 10 minutes-ish. So let's go to the clip there, because we want to have a look at that tackle again.
Chasing it down, has support on the
if I actually cue up the right clip. Okay, here we go. We're going to watch the clip now. So here's the ball carrier. She's in full flight and she's past that defender. Okay, so Mickelson's chasing her. And you might be suspecting, I think something happened there. Well, I suspected the same thing. Have a look back at the clip. There is a hand out. It's not a big push, but it's definitely enough. And there's the suggestion of a clipped heel. But what I want you to notice right here, if you're saying, okay, I think the umpire missed a card there. there's a reason for it. Now, every time I notice something that I think, I wonder why the umpire didn't make the decision I'm expecting there. And if you're in the position of being an umpire manager, umpire coach, this is what the process you're gonna want to go through here as well. Because the important thing isn't really that there was a green card that wasn't given. What's important is the why. And if you need to hone your skills so that when you are out there umpiring and when you're umpire coaching, that you're able to provide something constructive to an umpire as to what you've seen. So when I look at this screen, when I look at Irene's positioning, she is doing the classic running on the outside of the field and looking over her left shoulder. She's not going to see that push from that angle. It's a difficult place to make a call from, and this is the entire reason why we are trying to move away from that positioning as much as possible, because you've narrowed your field of vision because you're looking over that left shoulder, you're in panic mode, and you're bouncing up and down. It's easier for you to see things if you have already taken a more aggressive positioning towards the baseline. You have opened up your shoulders to the play and you're inviting it to come towards you, and you can see at an angle off your left side, but with your shoulders open, something that happens there on the sideline a lot more clearly. So it doesn't always work out. Sometimes that interior positioning does block you from something, but it would have definitely helped in this case, and I think it would have helped Irene see what I think we all saw on the replay. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Robert, great to see you from Melbourne. Anybody else? Okay, we're going to get going on the broadcast again. So we're at about 10 minutes at Q1, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we're starting with a 23-meter restart here. Oh, he's just copying me now, the commentator. I think this is Charlie Broom. Okay. Having made that comment about the positioning, now if you are able to take a look at what you might see Alicia doing differently at times, and then watch to see if Irene makes an adjustment. Spoiler alert, she does. And she takes a much more interior, more aggressive, faster turnover position for the rest of the game, and it works. Just coming up to the 9-minute mark of Q1. Remember, you see anything that you're interested in talking about, poke me in the comments, poke, 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 and I will be more than happy to address it. That guy eating the ice cream. God, I'm so jealous. Notice that New Zealand is pressing fairly high and aggressively on the GB defensive line. So Alicia is taking quite a deep position. As I get really close to the camera, she's taking quite a deep position and quite interior to make sure that she's ready for the turnover. And if it is coming into her circle, she's going to be in an excellent position to see what she needs to make any decisions about. And you can notice right on that play, there's Irene. She is facing the play. It's coming towards her. She looks much more comfortable. And again, here, just coming to about 7:05 on the clock, there she is doing that interior run and backpedaling to her baseline makes all the difference in the world. It seems small, but it really helps. The struggle is in a game that's at this pace and this open is that you need to time your transition, your turnover run very, very early. You need to be getting down and backpedaling as soon as you possibly, even there's a hint that the ball is going to start coming at you. Otherwise, you're going to end up chasing the ball from the outside quite often in this kind of game. One of the quietest penalty corners I've ever seen awarded. There wasn't even any shouting happening from the players. If only that were every corner. So the clock has stopped here at 5:40 in Q1. I suspect the slight delay there was because very unlikely Irene would have seen that from the angle that she was at. That's for Alicia on the radio to be saying penalty corner, foot, and off it goes. Yeah, that's a good observation, Robert. They definitely have done that. So Sarah's got a question. Oops, as I put that right across my face. Any recommendations to get it across to new umpires? One of the things that I talk about with positioning and timing of your runs is I call it a turnover drill. And what I try to get umpires used to is when your right arm goes up, hey, everybody, come into my den, then the first thing that you do when your arm goes up is once you track the ball placement and where 5 meters will be away from that, you go. You just go. So this is your habit. You are, you're spotting the foul, you're blowing the whistle, bang, you run. And it's about making that connection. And it might only be 3 steps. You might already be in a great spot. But if you set the habit with your positioning that it's always boom, run, then you have that decision is already taken care of for you, and you're going to be much more likely to be able to get into that spot that you need to be, or to be starting the run that'll get you into the right spot. I hope that helped. Jasper, good to see you. We're just at a penalty corner at 4:26 in Q1. I hope that helps. Coming up to 4:15 left. You've missed all the good stuff, Jasper. I'm just kidding. Wondering if any of you guys saw that bit of a running ball been taken. Thanks, Elsa B. I hope that made sense, the explanation I gave about the transition run. I have a way of looking at umpiring the game as being a hierarchy of habits. And the best umpires have all the building blocks so that when things get chaotic, they're not thinking about rules, which is the first widest breadth of habit that you need to know. You just need to automatically know the rules. Positioning is the next one on top of that. And then the next one is interpretation. And then timing, advantage, flow, what matters, what doesn't, management. And it goes up into smaller, more finite, more advanced skills from there. If positioning is automatic for you, it frees up your brain so that you can spend more of that glucose power on your interpretations, on your management, on chaos, on rapport, on presentation, things like that. Yes, Stain, it was a very quick take if we're talking about the same event. Knowing the teams and knowing how they like to play and how particular players like to play really can help you in preparing that, Lily Ellis loves to dribble, loves to really attack with the ball. She has zero fear. So if she's anywhere near it and you've called a free hit, you've got to expect she's going to take off. There'll be players that you umpire on a regular basis that are going to be like that. And then there's going to be other players where you understand that they are more passers. They're more structured, settled. It might be the time of the game as well, where one team is really trying to go and take advantage of a player advantage that they have due to a card, or they're trying to make up a deficit in the score line as the game is coming to a close. Those sort of things will all change what you're anticipating on the pitch. Try to make those calculations, and it will really help you manage the small things like ball placements and rolling balls and 5-meter infringements and that sort of thing. Nice quick whistle there. Just coming to the last 45 seconds of Q1. Hopefully you're with me. Really love that interior positioning from Alicia. The ball is over on her far side as GB is trying to break out, and she is inside the pitch. She's not hanging out the sideline. She's inside the pitch. She's deep. She's ready for turnovers. She's ready to help as the ball goes up that sideline. She's got a really good place from which she can help Irene, who would probably be taking off, getting towards her end line because the ball is coming to her. All right, I am at halftime. Quarter break. I'll try to get this right. So I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to scroll ahead, or maybe I'll just talk for 2 minutes, who knows. Hopefully not. Any questions from quarter one that you noticed? Any tendencies? Anything that was unusual? Anything that you really liked? Otherwise, we're going to get set to start quarter two. All right, I hope everybody's with me. I'm just talking to myself here. It's just the weirdest thing. You guys have no idea. I'm just talking to myself. Okay, we are ready to go. So I'm going to start quarter two in 3, 2, 1, and go. There goes my whistle. I timed that very well. Plus I edited this, so. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate that. I'm glad you were ready. I may have left everybody else behind, but it's all good. So you might notice in the next couple minutes, there's a lot of stick noises. Really watch the defender's sticks in the next minute of play and watch to see what matters and what's just noisy. Yes, Ryan, you need to have the broadcast up in a different tab, and that is the link. So let me know when you're ready to go, and I'll steer you to the right point in the broadcast where we are at that moment. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to show you the broadcast behind me anymore. I've been reminded that that is something I cannot do, even in these times. We're just coming up to perfect, Ryan. We're just coming to the 13 minutes on the game clock. Yes, indeed, Robert. Darn copyright indeed. It's more the contractual agreements that the FIH has in place with broadcasters. They don't want to abrogate those at this point. Okay, coming up, we have something of interest. I hope you're all watching. Okay, we are at 12:14. Penalty corners just called, so if everybody wants to stop their broadcast, these are really good times for me to do that, I think, so I'll try to do that more often. But I am going to replay the clip from that last free hit because there are a lot of instances of the players pushing the boundaries there. Thanks, Jasper. Appreciate that. So the players are really pushing the tempo in this game, and they are looking for everything they possibly can on this. So we are going to go to this free hit that we just witnessed. Okay, so Howard earns the foot foul, and then from there she picks up the ball on the move and drives at that same defender and eventually wins the penalty corner. So
arguably, does Howard let it stop?
Don't worry about what Charlie's saying there. What I want you to focus on is what was the difference between where the foul occurred and where the ball was picked up. Now I've got it queued up to right where the where Howard's going to come and pick up the ball in the self pass, and the ball does strike the New Zealand defender's foot right about at that precise location, and it's barely moving at that point. It might be a difference of about a meter. So I really do like that play on. And I don't think there's any question in anybody's mind where the self pass was taken from. And that's what we're looking for. It needs to be whatever the motion is. And there's so many factors that go into it. It's not a formula of just a flat stop. It's something like that where the ball is barely moving and it's really obvious that that's where the self pass is being taken from. As long as the message is clear, so the defender knows where her 5 meter distance is going to be, so the umpire knows where that 5 meter distance is going to be, That's the important part. And keep in mind that the defender who is having to engage with that self pass is the one who committed the foul in the first place. So we're not looking for ways to get her back in the play, to give her the opportunity to get herself reset. We want to give the attacker the ability to go without cutting out the other defenders who didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so it is really nice and quick. The one thing that I do notice as I'm watching that is I'm not really sure how 5 meter distant away Howard and her teammate were at that moment. Again, does that change anything? Does a defender get pulled into the play because they are going to be marking that second player? No. So I'm okay with that, and I really like that. I really like the way that that play worked out. So if you're all ready to go, we're going to get back to the game. Remember, Q2 12:15. So Stain didn't like the quick take. Mike D, not impressed either. Jasper was cool with it and indicated he'd shout play, play, play in order to let the players know. We're going to get this started, and I'll keep looking at your comments as we look at this penalty corner. But if we're ready to start in 3, 2, 1. How did my fingers go the opposite way? Don't know. Okay. Okay. I really like the comments. Thanks, guys. So Simon's indicating that at his level, he would hear a lot of, hey, where from? And part of that is, as Jasper mentioned, it's really effective to use your voice and say, that's okay. Take it there, play, whatever your vocabulary, whatever feels comfortable to you. That's a really good way to let the players know what you're thinking. At this level, Irina doesn't need to explain it. It's cool. Everybody is pretty sure. The defender had her arm up in the air because she wanted to indicate, I'm trying to get back 5. But that's about it. Robert indicating, he feels that it would have slowed the game down in order to take that one back. I agree. And if you imagine in your head what it would have looked like if you'd seen Irina, tweet, no, take that back. It's got to be stopped. It would have been like, it would have felt like an interruption that didn't need to be an interruption. The good news is that later in the game, we'll have a chance to look at a clip where a somewhat similar play where a quick self-pass was taken without the ball being stopped was brought back. And I'm going to ask for your impressions on that from the other side where the intervention was made and see what you thought about that. Good advantage on the foot. And again, there's stick noise, but did it prevent the ball carrier from continuing to access the ball? Or perhaps was the stick contact initiated by the attacker and it was just inconsequential noise? We are coming up to 10 minutes on the game clock at Q2 in about 5 seconds. And when I say we, I mean me. But 10 minutes right there on the nose. I hope that's helping you guys out and that you're staying on track. That was another little short aerial. And a lot of us see at the levels that we're umpiring at where the aerials really don't go very far. And because of that, it's highly likely they're going to fall into dangerous spaces because there just simply are more players around the ball from where a free hit's been taken. So you will see if that aerial goes a short distance, it's highly likely it's going to be dangerous. And unfortunately, you're going to have to take the takeoff and the landing as it goes, which means you need to be on the ball. But luckily, you can pretty much guess and go, yep, that's probably going to be bad, so let's take that back. Hi, Robert. We're coming to 9 minutes on the clock, just about, and 9 minutes remaining on the game clock Q2. I hope that helps. That isn't tea. Robert, it is 20 to 1 in the morning. I need fuel. A little bit of a danger play there with the ball being raised, but the defender was able to take it down. So, yep, off you go. Play that through. Keep the flow going. Okay, a little late on that aerial. And remember, whistle timing has so many, having a fast whistle timing has so many benefits in a game. One of them being you stop players from asking for fouls because you've already either blown or you've indicated verbally that you're not going to be blowing that, and then it's, you know, a lot less effective for them to try to entice you into a call. So if you're able to identify the fouls before they even happen and before the players can get on you, it's great. Plus, it means the ball is going to go off very quickly on free hits, and then you are not having to deal with players talking because they're too busy playing. It's awesome. Yes, was asking, Scoops is the level of players, yes. So, sorry, Jesper is talking about taking into account the level of skill. Absolutely, that's crucially important. One of the things that we're realizing with the aerial ball and the way that the rule is written, which has not been changed since, I think the last time I ranted about this, I went back in the rule book and I think it hadn't been changed since about 2003, maybe before that. And the aerial ball skill has changed in so many ways, and the tactics and the situations that it's being used has changed so much. So we're trying to strike the balance between interpreting it in a way that makes sense for different levels of play without changing the way the rule's written, because it's a scary thing. We don't want to remove that 5-meter protection that is so useful for junior level, for lower level clubs, and all that sort of thing. We want to keep nurturing the ability to get to develop that skill. And you can't encourage defenders to learn the skill of taking a ball out of the air during a game unless they have some protection. So we'll talk about that and the way that the aerial is moving in a little bit later, because I do have another clip. Okay, penalty corner there. This is at 6:25 now on the clock. And what I really like about that decision for the free hit out is that Irene, instead of guessing and saying, well, I'm going to guess and then I'm going to let the video umpire tell me if I'm wrong or not, if either one of the team's challenges, is that she waited and she waited for Alicia to give her the call over the radio. Alicia's going to see that quite accurately. If Alicia doesn't, then Irene can make her call and, you know, go on with the video umpire if it's needed. But when it comes from Alicia and everybody knows that that's what that pause is, it helps add credibility to that decision, because everybody knows that that support umpire is in a great spot to see how high that shot on the penalty corner is. So Mike D's asking about some advantage being played before the penalty corner, and I like the balance of the flow here, keeping in mind that there's an acknowledgement that penalty corners are quite potent weapons at this level of competition, whereas when you and I are umpiring at home, we might want to play advantage more because the penalty corners just aren't quite as well executed. So you're balancing those things out, but you're also balancing out the ability of the attackers to get shots off that you wouldn't even expect. So you really have to understand what, and to be able to anticipate, predict, what do you think is going to happen at this level. Okay, coming up in about 20 seconds. I'm at 4:20, so now 15 seconds on the clock. Just have a little peek. Okay, there's a free hit that's given just inside the 23, and the ball just grazes the top of the circle. So that grazing the top of the circle is inside the circle. Really good 5-meter decision by Irina there. Yeah, Jasper, asking yourself, what do the players want more? What is more to their advantage? That is the word advantage right there. Absolutely. That's a great comment, and that's exactly what you want to know. And absolutely right. Asking the players and the coaches after the game, you know, how did you feel about that? I've even done it during a game where I've made a decision about flow, and then when I see the player's reaction, I'll say something like, sorry, thought you wanted that. And then they understand that I'm trying to deliver for them. I'm not just applying some arbitrary criterion. I'm actually trying to help them. Oh, goal. 3 minutes, 2:59, quarter two. What a shot. This girl can score. She's one of the young talents coming up in the New Zealand squad, and she is quite something. Yeah, and Simon noticed that, you know, Alicia's a great athlete, so she definitely got back in front. She probably would say that she would want to be even further ahead if she possibly could, but it was a really fast break, so yeah, very well done. About 2:30 left in quarter two. Coming up on the last 1:30 of Q2. Oh. Lots of action in this game. This is fun. And you notice there's lots of little times where the ball isn't quite on the 23. It's a little bit off the sideline. Nobody cares. Not a single player is caring about these things. 0 Fs are being given. So take the cue that that's where the expectation of the players are. This is the mental space they're in. They want to play. They want to go. Stay out of their way. Absolutely beautiful save. Last minute. A little bit of a shadow there on that self-pass, but when they take the inside lane like that, that's the most appealing place. And if they're running alongside, even though they're not actively putting their stick in, they can be taking away a passing lane. So it's something to consider when you're watching for 5-meter infringements off a quick self-pass. Okay. As Charlie Broom says, there is the halftime hooter. Thanks, Brett. Sorry that we'll miss you. So I am paused here at the end of Q2. Halftime. So everybody needs to scroll your broadcast 10 minutes. I don't think there's any extra time on this one. So go ahead and scroll up. I'll wait. Got nowhere to go. Not allowed out of the house. Yeah, it's kind of fun that because I had some flu symptoms, which I don't believe were that flu, but were just a different flu. The rules here in Alberta are that from the day that I showed symptoms, I have to completely self-quarantine for 10 days. So I have not left the apartment since Thursday. And I won't leave the apartment until next Monday. 800 square feet. Going good. Thank you, Jono. Good to see you. Didn't know you'd snuck in there. So Jono's helping us out with the FIH.live time cue 57:24. Simon, you think you're ready? Are you really ready? I hope some other people are set up. It's the makeup, Robert, honestly. In about another month, oh man, we're all going to be struggling. Who knows what this hair is going to look like. Okay, hopefully you're all queued up. I'm going to get ready to start unless somebody jumps in here right here and says, no, stop. Don't do it. Ryan's ready. Excellent. Oh, okay. I love it. Mike D, you're ready as well? Okay. Yes. It is probably good I can't see you, Simon. Although I wish I would. Okay, we're going to get started. Start of Q3 in 3, 2... Oh! Tomo, hi. The first half was exceptional. It's just going to go downhill from here. So thanks for joining in late. I appreciate it. But Tomo, hope you're ready. You've been watching quietly with your cup of tea, Jono. Good to know. Honestly, it is 1 o'clock in the morning now, so there is no tea for me. I need something that's going to keep me calm. Okay, getting started. Quarter 3 in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And there's my whistle. Good. I hope you're all with me. If anybody gets super lost, you just come in. Michelle, hey buddy. Michelle's here. Make sure you let me know. Okay, really soon, at about 14:30, we're going to have a chat. So keep an eye out. Here we go. Deflected arrow off the sideline. So there comes the double whistle. So if you can pause your broadcasts at 14:15 to go, let's go to the tape. Let's go to the real tape. Okay, so here it comes. The arrow goes off.
Sideline ball
and
to New Zealand, which will
the
be
ball
taken
deflects off the
by Ralph, but
surroundings. It's rolling, and the attacking player
tries
just
to stop
takes
that
it in
ball.
stride, and off she goes. So what I'm interested in your comments after what you didn't like in the last quarter. If you feel like this is a better intervention and well-timed, and it stopped something bad from happening in the game. So let's watch it again.
Neil moves it away. Toman with a touch. Sideline ball to New Zealand, which will be taken by Ralph, but no attempt to taken by.
So I've paused it where we can see where the a tackle gets laid in. There is one defender really who is in play at this situation, and I'm even going to scroll it back a little bit, the magic of technology. And you can see that GB defender she's probably a good 7 meters away from the sideline at this point. Does the rollingness of the ball influence in any way how that defender is going to play this self-pass? Is there any question, you think, in that defender's mind whether that self-pass has been taken? And where that defender can then attempt her tackle. Given that she started from, I think, beyond 5 meters, it's hard to tell from the camera angle, but I'm pretty sure it's more than 5 meters away. What effect has that had on the play? So for me, given the precedent that they've set and the style and how well it's worked in previous moments in the game, I'd kind of like that to keep going. But I can also see the other point that might be a little bit too outrageous of a roll. It's just too much. Like, come on, stop taking the piss, as you Brits would like to say. And let's see. So Simon agrees that one could have been let go, that no defender was cut out by that motion. I like that. Anybody else? Kristen's just listening to my voice, and you are frightening me. Anybody else who wants to comment on that clip? We can keep going. I'm going to get the game started again, and if you have any other comments that you want to chime in with and let me know what you thought of it. I can see both sides. I really can. And this is when I look to, and I think as an umpire coach, you really want to look to what happens in the game after that. Do you see evidence that the strategy, the plan, and the decisions that the umpires are making didn't work? And if you didn't, then who are you as a coach to say, you can't do it that way. That's not right. What's right is that the game works and the players are happy and the coaches are happy and the losing team is happy, right? And if you've got all that wrapped up, awesome. And Nirmal would have let that go too. Okay. And the DDW, Jasper, I have no idea what a DDW is. You're going to have to explain that to me in Dutch. I'm going to get the game going again and keep looking at comments. So if you guys are all ready, it's at 14:15, and we're going to get restarted in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Thanks, Zed. You think that the attacker is ready? I'm just going to put that over my face. This is hard work, guys. And for Stain, also, it was a play on for you. So, all right. These are the fine margins that you're looking at. And it's not just at this level. It's when we're on the pitch as well. It's just that our factors are a little bit different. We have different degrees coming into our calculations. There's different culture, different expectations, different levels of skill, different pace. All those things come into play. So it's not that it's about what's right or wrong, but what are we looking at? If a defender is ready at your level, then maybe you can let that go. Did I say that, the dreaded double whistle? God, I got to start copywriting my phrases and remembering that I've ever said them. Okay, we got a little penetration coming into the GB circle. That is at 12:41 left. Everybody happy with that end line play? And we have our first referral of the game. We are at 12:30, so everybody can kind of catch up. You're right, Robert. We're going to have to hashtag that at the DDW. We need more inside jokes as a third team. Okay, so if you're watching the video referral replays here, I didn't clip this one. It comes off the goalkeeper up into McCaw, and I can see, you know, where the reaction might have been. Yes, it's played by the body, but, well, we'll see what happens on the referral. Come on, Lim, don't let us down. Okay, so Lim's rendered his advice to the pitch umpire. And what I really like about that presentation is that Lim is able to explain what he saw and then gives his recommendation. And the way that the video umpires are counseled is that they're trying to eliminate variable communication that might get misconstrued. But I still think it's really important for transparency. It really helps everybody understand why a particular recommendation is being made, and it just helps sell the umpire's decisions as a team. Yeah, good point, Robert. That behind the goal, she was unsighted. There's a really nice sequence later where you can see Irina really working hard on her movement. And what I really like about her umpiring in particular is that she makes adjustments. When something happens that she's not happy about, she fixes it in the game, in the same game. And to me, I think that's the mark of an absolutely top-notch umpire. If you can do that self-coaching and adjustment, even in a high-pressure situation like this, awesome. And it's something that I think we can all aspire to. Okay, what's next? All right, we're coming up to 11 minutes in quarter three. Okay, in about another 15 seconds, I'm going to have an aerial ball clip that we're going to cut to. Going to come back into the GB backfield, fairly short aerial. And at about 10 minutes, we're going to give it a pause. And there we go. You can hear the exclamations of dismay from the GB bench. They wanted that decision. You might think, well, no, it was into two people. Let's go to the video, and I'm going to break it down as to what they're starting to look at more and more on aerial ball receptions at this level. Okay? And it's tricky how this is all going to work out. And I'm not saying that this is something that you're going to necessarily be employing at your levels, because what is dangerous for juniors, for club matches, for matches in my city of Calgary are going to be quite different. That danger is going to be quite different than what it is going to be at this level. And what they're starting to try to adapt is that even if two players are within 5 meters of each other, let's say vertically as they are in this clip, as we're going to roll it, if one player is in front and they're clearly the initial receiver, as long as that ball is landing to them in front, then the player who's immediately behind them is going to be expected to back off the 5 meters. So this particular play right here, and I think I pause it, I'm going to pause it right there. So you can see that the GB player is in front, but the ball's just a little bit too high. It's still contestable by both players at that moment. So it is correct to call that as landing into a zone where two players are occupying it and there is no clear initial receiver. However, if that ball had just been a little bit shorter and landed in front of the GB player, then I would have expected for it to be an advantage situation, or if the New Zealand defender didn't back off, that it would have been a foul against her for not giving the 5 meter landing zone space. I'll just play it one more time so everybody can see it.
Hannah Martin. Over the top. And that goes against Great Britain.
So I hope that explanation clears that up. Maybe that'll help you as you're watching other games at this kind of level. And it gives you an appreciation of where we're trying to go with this entire skill. We're really focusing on not the technicality of the way that the rule is worded. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, it hasn't been changed for way too long. But it's about what truly is dangerous and trying to give some guidelines as to how that works in real life, in real hockey, with all the chaos of all the situations. Okay, thanks, Michelle. And Simon indicating the other GB looked like the intended first receiver. It's initial receiver, not actually intention. So a little play on the words there, but yeah, it could have actually been that it was supposed to go elsewhere. So if you guys are all ready, we're going to get started. It's 10 minutes for me exactly on the clock at Q3, and we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, and off we go. Does the other GB player have any bearing on that aerial call? Not sure, Zed, at that point if she really did. I think it would have been isolated to those two players. And if you're watching the broadcast, you're just seeing at 9:44 that we had a non-goal. If you just watch the replay, we'll get back to this in a sec. Okay. Very accurate decision. Just a little note that the presentation of wagging your finger at the players, maybe not the best look in a lot of situations. Depending on cultural norms and things like that, it can look a little bit like you're chiding the player, and it was nobody's fault in that situation. It was just, no, that's just not a goal. It hit your body and then went into the net. So I prefer a little bit like, maybe even a shrug, just saying, well, and making it more of an empathy building moment rather than a chiding moment can be a little bit more effective. So Robert, just going back to that aerial, noting that she was ready to receive, absolutely. But if the ball had landed shorter, you would expect the GB attacker to be able to go with that. Okay, we just passed the 8:30 mark, Q3. Good clarification. Thanks, Mr. Tomlinson. Question of time and space. The lower and shorter ball would be okay because there wouldn't be a contest in that landing zone. Thank you. Appreciate that slightly different take on the explanation. Always helps to hear it in a few different ways. That's why I like to talk so much. I might say it a different way the second time or the third time. You never know. Okay, we're at 7:42. There was just an upgrade for hitting the ball away on penalty corner. Absolutely right. You'll see on the replay. And you can hear the whistle. And it's absolutely one of those things, even though that ball placement isn't wonderful for the attack, had they been able to pick it up right there on the spot, there are 3 defenders that she could have cut out with a quick self-pass who would not have been able to tackle her until the ball had moved 5. So it was a massive disadvantage for that ball to get hit away so that all the defenders could move back and get into position. So, yep. Agree, Jasper. Great upgrade. And cost them. So if you're with me, we're just going to watch the ball get put into play after the 40-second pause after the goal. Okay, thoughts on umpire movement during a PC? Do you try to hold your space or move straight away? Interesting, Michelle. So one of the things that I like to encourage umpires to think about, if they have to move right away when the ball has been injected, to me, that's a signal that maybe they're not happy with where they started. And if you find yourself every time the injection goes and as the ball is moving to the top of the circle, you're immediately adjusting your positioning, I'd say, yeah, you're not in the right spot. You're not where you want to be. You're not in your happy place. So if you can watch a little video and check that for yourself, it might either show that you need to get out of your comfort zone and be in a better position for the action that's going to evolve, or you're just in a habit where you're starting out in the wrong place and moving yourself into the right one. It should be that the umpire is going to start moving as soon as you can process that the ball is getting laid off and you need to adjust an angle there, or as soon as there's a rebound. Then you're going to want to be in motion. But at the moment of an injection, there is so much going on, right? You're watching the timing of the ball and whether the defenders are breaking early. You're watching if the attackers are breaking early. You're watching if the ball's going to go outside the circle. You got so many things going on. The last thing you want to be doing is moving when you're trying to make those 4, 5, 7 different calculations. Keep it simple and try to be calm and stillish at that moment, and then be anticipating when you start getting layoffs and option play happening off that. So yes, we're talking about the difference on that penalty corner upgrade, whether it could have been a personal penalty as well. And I think that you're absolutely right. At least in that moment, what really needs to be addressed is the imbalance that's created by cheating, by hitting the ball away. Does a personal message need to be sent to that moment? I don't think so. I didn't feel it. Okay, we have a green card coming out here. If you're watching, we're at 4:48. And it happened very quickly. Really great timing on Irina's part, where she saw that little push that tumbled her over. Just a green card, just a, hey, that's cheeky, unnecessary, off you go. It didn't really stop anything amazing from happening. Robert, we are at 4:25 on the clock, if that helps. Ryan asking, where would you recommend to be positioned on a penalty corner as the controlling umpire? Well, it depends, just like everything else. So the general rule is that you will want to be closer to the top of the circle when you are umpiring a slower level of play. The reason for that being that the ball is moving more slowly, there's more chance for the defenders to get up to the top of the circle, and that's where the action is. So you need to kind of get yourself a little bit closer so you can have a better angle on the stuff that's happening at the top of the circle. At this level of play, at men's top level, where the ball is flying to the top of the circle and you're expecting a drag flick to come, the hot action is happening more at the end line, and you're going to want to be positioned closer to that, if that helps. It's something that you need to you need to play with. You need to find what works at your level, and you need to be paying attention so that you can self-coach yourself into a better spot. Goal. So 351, I hope everybody's caught up. We've just had the goal by Ballston. Lovely drag flick, just like I saw on Twitter. And Simon noticed that another free hit that could have been properly placed outside the 23, taken inside. But hey, if the team elects to take the ball inside, then they're going to be bound by the rules of taking a free hit inside the 23-meter area. But you'd rather not interrupt that flow if you can. At a level where you're still trying to really educate the players as to the inside, outside, the difference in the rules and things like that, you're not going to want to mess with that, and you're going to want to pull the ball back. Totally makes more sense. You're very welcome, Ryan. That's a great question. I love stuff like that. And Jasper, it is going to be a spicy end of the match. I hope you're not cheating and you know the score already. I didn't point out the TMS link this time because in case you hadn't watched this game, maybe you could be pleasantly surprised. Just past 2:30 left in quarter 3. Two minutes left. Narenia just called that ball's dangerous. Hard to see from where we were. It didn't seem like it was, but maybe down on the level of the play, you could see the ball entering a little bit too high there. So, yeah, a nice little area ball there. Just the umpire coach gets to hold the bottle of the glass of red wine. You see how this goes? This is just like the last time I did the broadcast at this time. It was around Q4 where everything fell apart. I'm a softie these days. Look at this. Beautiful transition from Irene. She was going pell-mell on running forwards and not having to worry at that moment because there wasn't congestion around the ball. And then she got herself turned around. She was backpedaling so that she could see when there was likely to be a challenge. Fantastic running. Love it. Again, adjustment made. Mike D, the glass is big, but I didn't fill it up very much. It's a big red. I have to give it lots of room to breathe. That's fantastic. I don't know if you could hear on the audio, but as the ball was moving into the circle, and that is the end of the quarter. But as I was saying, Alicia was talking to the players, and a lot of umpires, we get a little nervous about talking to the players when the ball's in the circle. We think, oh, we're going to distract them. I think we can give them a little more credit than that, and I think they'd rather know that we've seen that it's a stick, nothing there, play, go on, and then they're able to, they will respond because we've been training them. They do it in other areas of the pitch. They're going to be just fine in continuing to play hard and taking their shots and making their tackles inside the D as well, even though we're talking to them. So both Simon and Jasper are talking about how they're seeing that the players aren't necessarily expecting the whistles when they're receiving the scoops and that people aren't in sync. And yeah, this is the biggest area of the game that we are struggling with right now in order to communicate the messages. There are mistakes that get made, but I think by and large, it's difficult to break it down really well on video because we don't get the angle of seeing the ball at takeoff and seeing the landing, the potential landing area, or the potential receiving area, where at the same time, the way that the umpires do. And that's the biggest problem, is that players and coaches are watching the game in a different way than we are. They're watching the ball, they are tracking it. And so by the time the ball is entering the receiving zone, they're like, well, wait, that person was there first, but they actually didn't note that the way that the umpires are doing at this level. And it's just such a hard thing. It's a hard enough thing to learn how to do as an umpire, never mind teaching coaches and players about how that works at the same time. So it can be a little bit of a struggle. Plus, players don't have eyes in the back of their heads. They don't know if they're backing up into the established, receiving area where the initial receiver already was. They don't know. So there's a lot of challenges involved in trying to get this education going. And hopefully it's something that we can help address as time goes on. I think it's getting better personally, but there you go. And Jono, thank you very much. 1 hour, 19 minutes on the FIH.live. Stain, I got this. I am so ready. I get lots of breathers. I don't have any clips to show for quarter 4. We're just going to talk through things as it happens. So hopefully, and Mike D is noting that especially in Okehampton, the players really do struggle with aerials. Hey, we all do. That's the way it goes. And while I'm waiting for you guys just to get queued up, I'll just answer one more question from Robert asking, is this to do with the speed of the game and talk about the aerials? That's part of it. But I think it's more to do with the way we anticipate and the way that we have to call as umpires before, as the ball's taking off, we're making a decision as to which players are in the receiving zone. And that's something that just, even the player who's executing the aerial pass sometimes doesn't even know because they're not quite putting it exactly where they want to, or they've got their head down because they're trying to execute the skill properly. These are really tough things to all calculate all at once. So I'm not sure if we're really ever going to get to that point, but hopefully we will. Okay, if everybody is ready, we're going to get started. Q4. I can see the beautiful new kookaburra ball just sitting right there on the broadcast. If you guys are all ready, we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, and off we go. There's my whistle, starting Q4. I think we would all love to have this. I hope you guys are enjoying the quality of this game as well. I know we're really focusing on the umpires, but this is just really a fast, open, skilled game. And again, that's also a credit to Alicia and Irene doing a really good job in keeping the game flowing and making decisions that the players are really trusting. So definitely helps. Okay, just coming to 1330. And again, just another really subtle ball on the entry. It's a 50-50, but you can hear Alicia say, not that it was 50-50, but it was one that you might expect that could have been a foot, and you can hear her say, stick! Awesome communication. And again, nobody's looking, nobody's putting their hands up the air. Everybody's just getting on with the game, and that makes for quality hockey. So yes, we're noticing that players will do this and delay the game on purpose by saying, oh, we're from, umpire, we're from. And they bloody well know we're from. So, yeah, it's a little bit early for you to be really concerned about this tactic, but it's good to be aware of it, know that it might come into play, and that you're expecting the same level of play that you've seen, generally speaking, throughout the game to be continued as the game goes. Just keep to the same standard as you go. And if you use your voice, you say, all right, guys, let's get on with it. Come on, ball and play. That as long as you're speaking to the players and you're indicating to them that you're aware of the potential for these tactics to get used, that really helps prevent things, bad things, messy things from happening as you get to the late stages of a game. I think the coach was really agreeing with that decision that just was made on the aerial. Yay, an aerial that didn't need a whistle. Nice attack. Jono, stop being a spoiler. But yes, just about here. GB is going to come on the attack. They're going to breach the 23-meter area, and then they're going to give up the foul. And again, that wasn't as much playing the ball, but continuing to play as if, oh, I don't really know that there was a whistle. And again, that's nice and consistent, making sure that those kind of delay tactics aren't going to have a detrimental effect on the game. So, terrific card. Okay, I'm coming to 9:45, just past 9:45. Q4. I've always wondered what it would be like to be a player sitting in the suspension chair and having a camera right in your face. It's probably the last thing that you want. Okay, we're just about 8:55, and if you saw that little push after that free hit, had there not been the opportunity for New Zealand to outlet that ball very quickly, maybe that's something you might want to deal with. Maybe you'd want to double whistle and say, hey, all right, don't be cheeky. Or you might want to deal with Unsworth being a little bit in the way, but I like that the play was continuing, because at this time in the game, what New Zealand really wants is to get the ball going, and they want to get the ball into the attacking end. So any attempt there to deal with that would have just gotten away for something that really wasn't very important. So I like the play on there. So Ryan's asking where the video umpire is generally located. My understanding from what I've been told by the umpires involved, and if Tom is still around, maybe he can help us out with it, but my understanding is it completely depends on the stadium. And it's not until they rock up to the stadium that they know where they're going to be located. And that has an impact on the functioning of the technology and what other arrangements they might have to make. So, for example, Lee Valley, the truck is really far away, and the distance actually produces interference, and that's why the umpires at Lee Valley have often had to run to the sideline and put on a headset that is wired to the truck so that they can have communication. So we've just had a goal, just under 8 minutes. And we have a tie game. I told you this was going to be a fun game to watch. And actually, if you're watching this rebound, if you're watching Irene, she is taking some really high positioning in the circle in order to see around all the mess that's on the goal line. Love that positioning. It feels risky at the time, but if you have good anticipation, you know what's likely going to happen is that Irene was going to have to make a call one way or another if the ball didn't go in the net. So flashing up higher into the circle, even higher than the P spot, I think she was at that point, really gave her a great angle to see everything. And there was just no question at all. Players were very happy. Not the GB players for getting scored on, but nobody had any complaints about the decision that was made. So Michelle giving us a little inside game here. in a storeroom above the field. The glamorous life of an international umpire just doesn't get any better. We're spoiled. Hi, Shelley. I've just passed, we're coming up to 6 minutes 50 seconds on the clock. 6:45 now. I hope that helps, Shelley. Here's Tomo. Very stadium. Yep. Truck in the car park, stand, corporate box. Spain, tent behind the dugouts. That was true in Vancouver as well for the Olympic qualifiers. There was a tent actually quite separated from the pitch off to the side, and the VU couldn't even see what was happening on the pitch, which wasn't good because the radios didn't work very well. So it was a bit of a struggle for those guys. Shelley, if you're still looking for it, we're coming up to 6 minutes on the clock. And we're at 6 minutes right now at Q4. Hope you guys are sticking in there, hanging with me. I just love the awkwardness. Really nice playthrough on that. Hannah Martin is just going to want to keep on going. Let her take the ball. Yeah, Robert's commenting on the whistle down in the other end on the foot, and really I think that was a case where Alicia was unsighted from that foot. But what I like is that you can tell how much trust the players had in that there wasn't a massive outcry and players standing still and putting their arms up the air and going, hey, there's a couple little noises, enough to twig Alicia that maybe there was something missed, and then she was able to catch up to it, and she had her hand on her chest saying, hey, that was me, sorry guys, got it. And little touches like that, little communication, can help keep that trust high even when you've made a mistake. I am coming up to 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in Q4 right about now. That's a great run. So we're at the video referral for the ball off the defender's body. I think this is a bit more of a hopeful referral. There hasn't been a lot of GB attack inside the circle over the last 10 minutes, so I think GB is saying, well, maybe on a hope. Let's see if we can get a corner out of this, because it might be the only time. So the referral's lost. The ball wasn't traveling at a great pace, but it was quite high from a short distance away. Tough to expect a defender to be able to protect herself against that. So I agree, dangerous for the defender, and the free hit's the right decision. So Lim, 2 for 2, buddy. Good job. Okay, we are starting to see a little bit more peeling going on, but you would expect this at this juncture in the game. Coming up to 2 minutes left in Q4, tie with the big 3 points on the line. None of us like appealing, but it's something that it's difficult to deal with as the game's going on. You want to set the stage and try to put all your mitigation measures in place. Quick whistles, good rapport with the players, accurate decision making, all those sort of things. And hopefully you don't have to take any stronger interventions in a late stage. Okay, I'm coming up to the last minute of the game. This is fun. Buckle up. So on this goal that was scored, you would hope that, always in an ideal situation, you can be a little bit more ahead of the play, but that was a hell of a crack, and it would have been really tough for Alicia to be ahead of that. But that's where I think where you have the perhaps being a little bit unsighted from being side on to that play on that goal. But what you're going to see as you're watching the replays is that there's, on the dribble, as 34 just crosses the circle line, he's going to pull the ball a little bit to the left. There's a little desperation tackle from Davies. And then as you see this side angle, this is where you actually see the ball being on that side of her stick. Okay, when you combine that with the backside angle where you see the ball at that point moving to the right, you put those two things together. And of course, I think, there's always the potential that Lim's got better angles, different angles that he's looking at. But you put those two things together and you've got a pretty conclusive backstick. So 3 for 3. Last 30. Or is it? So Robert, you're asking about the poor tackle on that goal. For me, it wasn't poor enough for the foul. There was a little bit of contact, but I think on the balance, it was all right. And unquestionably, if Lim had a problem with the tackle, he would have made a recommendation that took that into account. He doesn't have to only look at the back stick. He's looking at that entire situation as well. So if he notices something, he can make that recommendation to the pitch umpire. I agree with that. Okay, so I'm at the end of Q4. And while you guys are all scrolling up to get to the beginning of the shootout, I'm not sure exactly. I'm sure Jono's going to chime in and let us know exactly where it is on the FIH.live. So Simon's asking, if GB had a referral, could they have a counterclaim for the tackle on top just before? And no, once a play has been referred and has been ruled upon by the video umpire, that's it. So that's why I made sure to talk about that the video umpire is going to take everything that they see into consideration. So if they see a reason why that back tackle, that back stick occurred, and that was because she got shoved from the back, then there will be a recommendation that, yes, there was a back stick, but immediately before that, there was physical contact, and therefore I recommend a penalty corner, a penalty stroke, whatever the case might be, and potentially making a recommendation for the personal penalty as well, if that's what they needed. Okay, thanks, Jono. I knew you'd cover. So we're 1:42:54. That's a very exact on the FIH.live broadcast. I'm going to get everybody a chance to cue that up and let me know. And while you guys are doing that, Simon noticing the different styles from the umpires. And I think part of it is I think Alicia in this game, is she's having a great performance and she feels really comfortable. And umpiring, New Zealand as an Australian umpire, that's a team that she's done quite a bit. I think she feels very comfortable in that situation. Irene is a very focused umpire, and it comes across. And I know as somebody who's, as I mentioned before, been too officious on the pitch, when you're that focused and concentrating, that's sometimes it can come across that you're a little bit less relaxed. But I think that's just, it's not necessarily cultural, because I think Argentinian umpires, in my experience, is just wide ranges. Like, they are all kinds of people. So it's just who she is as a person. That's just how she works. So, all right. Robert's ready. Mike D's at the 142. Excellent. Good, Simon. I hope everybody else is ready, because we're going to get the shootout started. And it's good. And so we've got Tess Howard all queued up. Oops. Stop messing with the clock, Keely. Okay. I hope you guys are all ready, because we're going to start with the first shot attempt. So GB is up first on attack. And we're going to start it rolling in 3, 2, 1. Go for some more wine. Thanks, Paul. Paul's ready. Great first attempt. All clean. Nothing to talk about. We're just going to be enjoying the hockey here, by the way. Olivia Shannon up next. What? Dang, girl. Q4 red wine, you got it. It was just such a shot. And that's not the first time she's done that on a shootout either. Good question, Jasper. Is it pre-decided who the leading umpire is during the shootouts, or based on the performance? This is a question between the pitch umpires. So they may talk about it in their pregame talk and say, okay, if we get to a shootout, then I'm going to control it. Or would you like to control it? And it might be based on who the more experienced umpire is or who feels better that day. You might get to the end of the game and maybe one umpire has struggled a little bit and you might trade that off. But you don't have to stay just because the shootout is being taken in Irene's end. It doesn't mean that Irene has to control that shootout. So they would know before the game starts which end the shootout would be if there is a shootout. And they can certainly swap that if they want to, and I've seen that happen. So if you're just watching the replay of Charlton missing, and Hannah Martin is stepping up now for GB. Any questions so far on any of the shootouts? Anybody see anything? Olivia Mary is up. Another well-executed shootout. GB is up again. Robertson now. Okay, Yes was asking if the reserve umpire is taking care of the 8 seconds. This depends on what the stadium setup is. So if the stadium has a good 8-second clock, that the technical team feels confident that it is going to sound properly, that it's going to count properly, then they will take care of that. The reserve umpire is then going to be on the end line and watching for the ball entering the goal at the 8 seconds. Generally, the reserve umpire will only be timing the 8 seconds if a whistle needs to be blown. So for most of us, regular mortals, that is going to be something that a reserve umpire could do, but it will totally depend on your local competition setup as to what roles are assigned to the different umpires. So Mickelson stepping up for her shot. You may have seen the judge hand up in the air. So it's being controlled from the table. So Mickelson's just scored. It'd be really good to... What we're missing from this broadcast that was supposed to be standard at every Pro League match is an 8-second clock on the broadcast. So evidence in the video so that you can see the clock ticking down and you'd be able to play that replay back on video referral as to whether a ball has crossed the line before the 8 seconds has expired or not. And it's one of those things that the stadiums, some of them just don't have the right setup, and you have to work with what you got as an umpiring and officiating team. Mickelson is stepping up for her second round shootout. Thanks, Paul. That's good to know. And Tess Howard stepping up. And that's the game. The best part of that shootout is that it was clean. There were no fouls that need to be called. The umpires were perfect. Everything worked out really well. So, loved it. High execution rates from the players. That's just good hockey and good entertainment for everybody. So, any other questions on the game at all? I think what you can really take out of that is that even though there were some adjustments that needed to be made from the beginning in the first quarter, we saw the umpires do what they needed to do to fix things. They had very good communication in between the two of them. Even though they weren't exceptionally verbal, they were talking to the players, and that was even more important. And whistle timing was very good, and they had a lot of trust. So Robert asking me about the positioning of the umpires during the shootout. And you know what? When it comes to shootout, it's really kind of hard to get it wrong because there's nobody else in the way. So when you see the two umpires evenly perched near the top of the circle inside, that's generally what's going to work at most levels. The important thing is for the controlling umpire to stay mobile and the supporting umpire to understand that their role really is to catch anything that happens over on the far side if the goalkeeper goes down, because that's where if a foot by the attack is going to be missed because the goalkeeper's gone down, that's where they're going to step in and help out. But with video referral as well, it really helps them out. But that's for us doing these shootouts, that's where you're really going to be focusing your attention, is to be able to help out the controlling umpire if the ball goes on that far side of the circle. I hope that helps as I do this. You're very welcome, everybody. I'm glad you got some value out of this. Again, it's a bit of a struggle to be talking about something that's happening on another screen. You're very welcome, Simon. Yeah, I'm feeling all right. I've almost finished this glass of wine and it didn't kill me, so I clearly must be better. If there's anything else, let me know. I'll stick around for another few seconds and see if there's any other questions that come out of it. But it was really lovely. Hey, Joe. Good to see you, buddy. I didn't know you were on this broadcast. But if there's anything else, I really appreciate the quality of the questions that you guys are putting forward and the dialogue. It really helps me, give everybody, and you guys are really contributing to the level of discourse that's going on in these broadcasts. So I really, really appreciate it. You Baladasabi, love it. Thanks, Nirmal. It was nice to see you. I think this is the first time I've seen you commenting on the broadcast. So if we've seen you before, then thanks for chirping in this time. I really like it. Thanks, Sarah. I feel like I'm scheduling all of the broadcasts just to fit Zim time. So there's some benefits to being where you are. It's gorgeous, and you're in a good time zone. So very well done. Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate it. Mike D, I'm the King I'd Rock. You're very welcome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Tomo. Man, you guys are just like telling me good things instead of giving me debriefing feedback. But that's okay. Feel free to DM me if you have suggestions of other games that you'd like me to take down. Tomo, I will not do one of your games when you're watching. That's not how this works. But if there's a particular match or there's themes that you'd like me to talk about as another match is going on, we're going to flip back to men in the next one. And so Saturday, I'm going to do like a Saturday. So it'll be 8 a.m. my time. It'll be a 1400 GMT on Saturday. I'm going to push it to Saturday because my good friends at Hockey Today, CC, are doing, another coaching thing, and I don't want to overlap. A lot of the people are like, I want to do both. And so I don't want to make it, too much of an imposition. And plus it'll give me enough time to prepare. I do a lot of preparation for these things. So look for that on Saturday. So if there's a men's game from the pro leagues or from the Olympic qualifiers that just happened, no, I won't do Canada Ireland. I will not. But we can do any of the other games. Just let me know. Requests are there. Thanks, Stain. You're very welcome. I appreciate it. Thanks, Ryan. And Jono, we all have our roles. I'm very glad that you're helping me out and giving me a hand. And Tomo, I think next time maybe you should guest with me. Think about it. I can Skype you in and then you can talk, but let's talk about other people, not you. Unless you really want me to show a game where you're umpiring, and then we can do it that way too. I'm cool with that. Okay? Thanks very much. I really loved having you guys here. This is just my biggest, this is just such a huge joy for me to be able to do while I'm bounced up in quarantine. Nirmal, I will message you myself about this one. And if you're ready to go, actually, I'll just answer you right now, Nirmal. Losing the referral looked like the GB player played the ball into the floor before it bounced up. So PC. No, I still think with the way that the ball is played dangerously doesn't necessarily mean that just because it goes off the turf doesn't mean the ball can't be dangerous. After that, you're still responsible. So if you play it off the post and it pings somebody in the head, that's still going to be dangerous, even though the ball, you can say the post was responsible, but we still hold the player responsible for the way it was played, even though it bounced off something else. If it bounces off the umpire and it smokes somebody in the chest, it's still going to be the first foul. I hope that helps. Michelle's just laughing at me for something I did. Who knows? But get a hold, DM me, not on Instagram, but DM me on Facebook, DM me here on Facebook, send me I think I just said that twice, Twitter, Facebook, send me an email, keely@fhumpires.com, and I would love to hear from you and take your requests. So thanks again for a great night. I'm going to finish off my wine, and I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. So it was a joy. Thanks again, friends. See you next time.